welcome remote STEM class. It's Mr. Dowd here. I'm just going to continue coloring in while I talk to you guys because this is going to take a while, as you can see. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. I know I did. I went skiing for the first time this winter, which is very bizarre for me because I'm usually skiing all winter. But yeah, so I'm going to continue coloring in this square, and you'll see why in a second, as I keep saying. But yeah, so hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Hopefully they did something fun, got outside. Alright, what else can I say? So we have the rest of this week to finish up this project, and then next Monday we'll be starting a new project, okay? So let's just go ahead, color this in. Wish I could do this. I wish there was a fast way of doing this, but there kind of isn't, unfortunately. Let's go color. Because if you remember what I said last class is the reason, or well, what I'm doing is to do the outline of the DR, like the borders of the country. And by doing this, it'll cut the flag in just the way I want it to. Right, let me just get in there, getting closer and closer. Just got to get rid of all those little tiny dots. Right, so there's one there. Let's get rid of that. These guys. Some over here. Let's hide that preview because it was in my way. All right, one last bit to do. So I don't really care about the out borders. I only care about the in. But I still want this all to be solid. All right, so for those who want to do what I'm doing, this takes a while. Not hard work, not that precise of work, but it is just a tedious part. That's all. I thought it would be the easiest way. There might be a better way. As always, there's more ways, more than one way to do things most of the time. Almost done. This seemed to me to be the easiest way of doing this certain aspect of it. All right, almost done. Obviously, I'm not going to incorporate the islands off of the DR. All right, so press done. Perfect. So that kind of looks like it. I mean, it's not perfect, but it doesn't look bad. So next, I'm going to make it into a hole. And I'm going to go ahead and actually Control Z, Shift to make it uniform. I'm going to put that over the flag. So do you understand now why I did the hole? Because now when I go ahead and group this, why is it not letting me click? Shift and click and group, it'll cut. So now look at that. So the DR flag, oh, I missed that spot up there. So let's edit the scribble a tiny bit and let's just scribble up here a little more. All right, so now when I group it, that should be gone. Perfect. So look at that. Look how nice that looks. So that looks like the shape of the island. Well, not the island itself, because all of Hispaniola is included with Haiti. So it's just the borders of the DR. How's that look? Looks pretty cool to me. All right, so next up, next class, I will go ahead and start working on the insignia in the middle of the shield with the Bible. That's going to be hard, but as I keep saying, but I think I can do it. All right, guys, hope everyone had a fantastic weekend again. Happy Monday. See you guys all tomorrow on Tuesday. Bye.
Hey guys, today I'm making scrambled eggs. Easy, very easy to make. So I'm going to take 2 eggs, but you could use 3 if you wanted more than 2 eggs. And I'm going to put it in a bowl. And I'm going to add a little bit of milk. And then I'm going to mix them up like this. See? Add a little more milk. Now I'm going to add some cheese to this as well once it gets on the stove. But you could really add whatever you wanted to it. So let's go over to the stove and see what happens. Okay, so I've already sprayed the pan, and I'm just going to take the mixture and pour it in. It's really hard to mess up scrambled eggs. A lot of times if you're making an omelet, if it messes up, then you can turn it into scrambled eggs. So I'm going to add the cheese. Okay. Then I'm going to start just moving it around like this. It's cooking. Just literally scrambling up just like the name says. Okay, I'm going to get some salt and pepper. See how it's cooking? Okay, so it's starting to cook. You could let them sit. You don't have to scramble them the whole time until they cook a little more underneath, and then you can flip them and continue to scramble them. See? So like I said, it's very hard to mess up scrambled eggs. Unless you burned them, I guess. That would be the only way. And they're very quick to make. So this is 2 eggs. So even though you might say, oh, I'm really hungry, you just might want to think about it before you cook scrambled eggs. How much it makes. Okay, so I'm ready to flip them. If you want, you could add more cheese, but there's cheese in there already. Those look done. So I'm going to shut off the stove, and I'm going to move it to a plate. Some people like, well, I know my daughter likes the scrambled eggs with ketchup. I think my husband does too. Yeah, my husband does too. He just yelled out, I do too. I personally don't like ketchup with my eggs, but it is very popular with scrambled eggs. So there you go. And then if you wanted, you could add some toast to that, or English muffin if you needed something else. And you're good to go. All right, easy to make for a healthy breakfast and quick. Okay, until next time.
Hey Gators, welcome back to Language and Play. All right, for today's warm-up, we are going to play with the letter C and the letter P, okay? And again, you can look at your Language and Play vocal warm-ups to follow along. All right, this is number 6. A cup of proper coffee in a copper coffee cup. Let's try it again, ready? A cup of proper coffee in a copper coffee cup. A cup of proper coffee in a copper coffee cup. A cup of proper coffee in a copper coffee cup. Really focus on the k, right? A cup of proper coffee in a copper coffee cup. All right? Feel how your face moves. Feel how each of those syllables and sounds comes out. All right? Take your time. Make sure you're using diction. We want to hear every part of the word. A cup of proper coffee in a copper coffee cup. Right? Make sure you get those P's on the end of cup. A cup of proper coffee in a copper coffee cup. Let's do it 3 times. Ready? A cup of proper coffee in a copper coffee cup. A cup of proper coffee in a copper coffee cup. A cup of proper coffee in a copper coffee cup. All right, now that we're all warmed up, we are ready to start talking about our emoji scene. Last week, I asked you guys to come up with a conflict, a problem between these two characters. You have a protagonist and an antagonist. If you had happy as your protagonist, you might have had sad as your antagonist. So I'm going to go with those two. All right, happy is a character who spreads joy, right? And sad is a character who has sorrow. Well, let's say that sad stole something that was really important to happy, okay? That would make happy sad. That creates a conflict, okay? You want to use that conflict and now start to have dialogue. What is it that the antagonist did to create a conflict with the protagonist? And you're going to start that dialogue. I'll be adding into the Google Classroom a document where you can follow along on how to make dialogue. All right, remember, dialogue is a conversation between 2 or more characters. So we're just going to start the conversation for today, and we'll continue it more tomorrow. All right, great job, Gators. Can't wait to see what you come up with.
Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about paper quilling. Paper quilling is when you have strips of paper and you roll the strips of paper up into a circular shape, or you can do other shapes too, but we're going to start with doing some circular shapes first. And then you make art with those little circle shapes. So here's an image of a flower that was made with paper quilling. So sometimes you might use a long straight strip of paper and maybe just curl the end of that paper, or you might curl it a lot and you can kind of pinch the circle. If you make a circle first, you can pinch it to make it more oval-like, and then you glue it down onto a surface. Here's another example of paper quilling. So it's really cool. It's very different from painting or drawing. So some of these designs are very simple and some of them can be really complicated. This one's very complicated. I love it. All that color looks amazing. And all the artist did was they rolled up pieces, like strips of paper, and glued them down. Or they just kept the paper kind of long and just curved it or bent it in a way so that it looks nice in the picture. Look at this one. That's paper quilling. So an artist spent a long time curling up the papers and placing them in a certain way to make it look like a panda. Look at that. So these are all really nice examples of paper quilling. So what you need for this project is paper. Hopefully you have colored paper. If you don't have colored paper, it's okay. You can just use white papers. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Here's a really interesting one. That's like a really complicated paper quilling piece of art right there. It's pretty amazing though. All right, so there's different ways that you can fold and bend the papers to get different results. So I don't see a lot of circles here, but you can kind of see like those flame shapes. And it's just bending strips of paper in different ways to get different results. And it's all called paper quilling. Look at those. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. It's pretty cool. That's all paper. So it looks like this artist actually had a piece of paper that was like in the shape of the violin. So they made that shape first. And maybe they glued it down onto a surface. And then they started filling in the space with other folded strips of paper. Sometimes they made it into tight circles. Sometimes they made it into like some looser circles. And sometimes they just had it, left it as curved paper. So, I mean, some of these were done by people that have done a lot of paper quilling. Look at that. It's like a little video camera. And a peacock. And little tulips. Paper quilling is pretty cool, guys. So we're going to do some. So what you're going to need to do your paper quilling is some paper and some glue. Glue, scissors, paper. If you have colored paper, that's great. If not, you can just use a piece of white paper. And you can add color to it later. But what you're going to do is just make some strips of paper. So you're going to make some tiny strips of paper. You need a bunch of them too. So you want to cut a whole bunch of pieces that are about that size. Okay? Maybe, you can start with 10. And then if you find that you need more than that for whatever it is that you're making, then you can make more. Okay? So you can also use colored papers too. If you have colored construction paper, I made a bunch of strips with construction paper. So that's nice. It's nice to have some colored pieces of paper, but don't worry if you don't. So just even if you have like notebook paper, you can cut them into strips and you can do some paper quilling with me. Okay, guys? So for next class, you're going to need some kind of paper strips, whether it's colored paper or white paper or notebook paper. You're going to need a little bit of glue. Hopefully you have some glue by now. And scissors to cut those paper strips. So I did want to show you guys also, this is some paper quilling that I did. So I tried to make it look like little fish, like one fish is swimming that way, the other fish is swimming this way. But this is paper quilling. So I spent a lot of time cutting my strips of paper and then coiling it up and then gluing it down to create an image. Paper quilling. You guys are going to do that, okay? So get some paper, some scissors, and some glue. So for next class, you just need some strips of paper. All right, guys? Okay. See you tomorrow.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Virtual PE. I'm Miss Reedy. Alright, so it's Monday. I hope you had a great weekend, and we're going to switch things up, and I'm going to start working with the strength band or resistance band. So today's activity, we're going to do, the first one is going to be deadlifts, and we're going to do it for 20 reps. And then the next one is a lateral squat row, and we're going to do that for 30 because we're going to do 15 on each side. We're going to go over how to do it, the deadlifts first. So you're going to take the open ends and you're going to hold on to them, and you're going to place the middle piece underneath the arches of your feet. You want your feet shoulder width apart, and you want to stand up with them and hold them both in each hand. Then you're going to bring them together and put them together. Now the nice thing about resistance bands, if you want it to make it harder, you just pull it tighter. Okay? But what you don't want it to do is like jerk your arm down when you're doing things. Okay? That means you're not under control. I'm sure Miss Yumin's already explained these kind of things, but I'm just kind of refreshing since this is my first time working with you guys with them. All right. So our deadlift is going to work our lower back and some of our legs. And we want to make sure our arms are straight when we're doing this, okay? And when we're going, we're going to bend down where it's nice and loose here. And then we're going to come straight up, okay? And we're going to kind of thrust the hips through and poke our chest out, okay? And then we're going to come down. Again, it's nice and loose, kind of like in a nice squat. And then we're up and rise, okay? Keeping the arms straight. Again, chest up, hips forward, and pull to extend, okay? And we're gonna do this 20 times, so it's up. All right, so that's the deadlift. I'll give a quick side view. So it's here, nice and up, and pull through. Again, if you want it harder, you just grab it tighter, okay? More looseness, and then it's just tighter. Nice and controlled. Nice and controlled. Again, we don't want this. It's yanking you down to the floor, okay? And then for the lateral row, it's kind of like just starting a lawnmower, essentially, and we're gonna add it with a squat. So you're gonna end up in a lunge. Again, put the band underneath the balls of your feet, okay? And you're gonna hold it with the opposite hand, because we're gonna rip the band through like you're starting a lawnmower to help strengthen that tricep. We're gonna give you some legs. It's gonna help a little bit with the back and the tricep area, all right? So we're nice and relaxed here in the lunge position, and then we're gonna squat up and pull the elbow through it, so it's nice and tight. Again, control the band, up. Make sure the band's not yanking you, and that everything's controlled. Okay, we don't want the band to rip. And we're going to end up doing this 15 on each side. So it's here, squat lunge, elbow through. All right, so those are our 2 workouts. Let's get to work, guys.
What's up, guys? Okay, so this week I'm going to be doing the cardio, all right? So quick explanation before we get going. We're going to start off by running in place, okay? Then we'll do 10 jump ropes. We'll run in place, and we're going to do single leg lunges. Okay, 10 of them, okay? We're going to repeat that until our time is up, all right? So get ready for a little cardio. I'll give you a minute.
Gotta Got
Thanks for watching Enrichment TV, Gators. Remember, work hard, be nice, and we'll see you tomorrow.